Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of the Blaugrana Podcast. You know, they had so much of this. Talking all over the place. They were hyping their club up. But we told them, we warned them that we were going to run the fade and we were going to get our win back and retain our trophy. And when it mattered most, when the stakes were high, man like Flick, as he always does in cup finals, once again, does it again. And we love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar Talks Football. And this is going to be a good show. This is going to be a great show. This is going to be a show of the ages because today, ladies and gentlemen, we are on celebratory mood. But before we get started, where else would this show be without my co-host himself, man like Barca Boy 103. Brother, how are you feeling today on Monday?
What a Monday. What a Monday. Coming to Monday as champions is always a fantastic feeling. First trophy of the season and not the last trophy as well. We come in with silverware and we come in with our rivals in disarray. They have no manager, no trophy, 4 points behind in La Liga. It doesn't get much better than this, but it's not over. We're still early. We celebrate today, but tomorrow it's back to business. It's only the Supercopa. Deserved winners. We humbled them. They're probably still celebrating the win in that October Clásico. I can still see them celebrating that win. That is how you win, and that's how you celebrate a win as well.
Listen, man, they can get the Fugazi wins, man. We get the wins that matter. That is football. When it all comes down, when the stakes are high, which team turns up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, my team turns up. Big up to every single one of you guys. Smash the like button on your way in. But listen, where else do we get started, man? Let's get straight into it. Supercopa de España, the second Clásico, right, of the season, right? They had the first win. We told them that they should be worried, but they were not worried. They didn't heed our warning. I came here with all the confidence. People thought I was giving false pretenses. And I was telling them, no, it's in the air. I can feel it in the air. This title is ours. This trophy is ours. We own this trophy. And we have a fit squad to prove it. And they didn't want to listen. But they always say, one must hear, must feel. And ladies and gentlemen, they did. But listen, let's get it straight into it, Hafid, right? I mean, what a game, man. I mean, look, for the neutral, I guess entertaining game. I feel like the scoreline, right, was a little bit too nice to Real Madrid if we're gonna keep it 100. Because let's be real, man. Like, we absolutely controlled that game from minute 1 to minute 90. Like that first half alone, the fact that first half ended 2-2 for some reason, I'm like, bro, that just for me encapsulates just how bad our defense is, bro. Our defense is garbage, bro. The fact that we were so in control and still left that game, that first half, still conceding 2 goals was unacceptable. But like I mentioned, 3-2 goes by Raphinha with a brace and Robert Lewandowski. I mean, what are your thoughts on the game, bro? What are your thoughts on the game?
I think the game was total Blaugrana dominance. No, I'm kidding. I think we played well overall. I wouldn't say we played poorly or fantastic. I think the only part where Madrid were on top was in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the second half. That was the only time where I felt like Madrid were having some chances. They had the Rodrigo and Vinicius chance. They had some more possession than we did. But once Rafa scored, it was cruise control. And I was saying during the game, I said in the build-up to the game, I said someone will win this game. It'll be by 1 goal. It's going to be a tight affair. I said I predicted 2-1, but I also mentioned that I wouldn't see it. I would see it also going 3-2. And 2-2 starts the second half. You see how the game is going because I think penalties after 90 minutes played a big role in this Barcelona victory. I think players are like, yo, we don't need a penalty shootout, because if it goes to extra time, it's only a half an hour and stuff like that, the nerves and stuff like that. So I had a feeling that either someone wins this game 3-2 or is going to penalties. In the end, it was us, thankfully. But I think in that first half, we controlled it quite well up until the 2 goals we conceded quite poorly. I thought we were in control of the game. I thought Frankie de Jong had an absolute masterclass of a performance. I thought Raphinha, of course, que jugador, what a player he is, absolutely sensational, both attacking and defense. Koundé and Kubarsi were absolutely horrific. I think Eric Garcia had to do a lot of the dirty work for them. But it was a game that we deserved to win. It was a game where we played better and we got what we wanted out of it, which was, of course, the first trophy of the season. And we also got a little bonus out of it, which is now that Real Madrid are in disarray.
Dude, it couldn't happen to a better team. And look, like you mentioned, man, for me, the game kind of went the way I expected. I told people, I said, brother, after what I saw between Real Madrid and Atleti, I knew how they were going to set up. I already knew, right? And it was exactly as I expected, man. These guys didn't come to play football. And this is the funny thing, right? When you're playing against a team that are playing like that, you always got to be careful. You understand what I mean, right? You got to be careful because these guys, and they don't care about the performance. They don't care about any of that. These guys care about winning the trophy. And in the first half, we were so comfortable, but I feel like we were being so one-dimensional in the way we were playing, right? Always trying to throw it out in the wings, So we became predictable. And Madrid kind of understood what the plan was. And they were like, listen, let's just try to nullify the wings, make sure they don't cross any balls into the box. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair, they did a good job at it. But here's the issue, right? Eventually, I feel like around the tail end, like last 10 minutes of the game, first half, right? Things started to change. We started playing more in the middle, and you saw then we started creating better chances, right? And then Raphinha, man, like I know you mentioned, a lot of Raphinha and those guys, Frankie de Jong, right? But fair play also to Lamine. I think Yamal played very, very well. I feel like this game, he wasn't doing too much. You understand what I mean, right? He was just doing the bare basics, and he was just doing his thing. And I loved it. And this is the kind of Yamal I want to be seeing every week. You understand what I mean, Hafid? Right? The Yamal that, just takes his time, doesn't overdo it, right? Just takes his sweet time. You feel me? And I feel like in this game, he did his dribbling when he needed to, right? He wasn't like, sometimes he just did it, took his time with it. And that's what I loved, right? And he made a great pass before the first goal to Raphinha. And Raphinha missed it. I was surprised, bro, the way he missed that, right? But
yeah,
literally, bro, within seconds, like, bro, it's not even a minute. Within seconds, second chance comes his way. Guess what? 1-0. And this is what I was telling this Madrid fans before this game. I was telling them this happened. I was like, brother, this is what we were missing in the first game. That first Clásico, not having Raphinha was huge for us. Because if we had him in that game, we would have won. I think we would have won. The way they played in that Clásico, bro, the fact that they didn't only beat us now, I was like, bro, the fact that we didn't have the firepower that we could, like Raphinha there, because without Raphinha, they only focused on just nullifying Yamal. But I'm like, how would have things been different if we had Yamal in this game? If we had Raphinha in that game? And now I'm looking at this game thinking, well, here's the point. This is the proof. Look at how well we played in this game. It was absolutely beautiful, man. What a performance. What a goal. What a performance. Like. But then, once again, like you just mentioned, man, the defense. Like, bro, we keep talking about the defense, Hafiz. Every single time. Every time we keep talking about the defense. Koundé and Kobashi, brother. I mean, listen, thank God João Cancelo is here. I do not care. People can say, oh, João Cancelo is defending. Bro, I don't care, man. I've seen too much of Koundé's trash defending now to be like, listen, man, I don't care anymore. You feel me? I don't care, man. Like, at the end of the day, it can't be any worse, man. It cannot be any worse. Like, seriously, this is absolutely, like, bro, the way Vinicius just penetrated, bro, the way he just walked through him. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. We had like 3 players right there. And for some reason, they just like that. Absolutely disgusting, man. I was fuming watching this game. I was fuming watching Koundé. I was fuming watching Kobashi, bro. This Kobashi guy, bro. How many more mistakes do we have to keep seeing before we eventually say, all right, man, he is not ready for the big stage just yet? You feel me? It's not good enough, man. And honestly, bro, it pissed me off. It really did piss me off watching this game. Honestly, bro, when I was seeing those two. And I feel like it is time for us to really stop drinking the Kool-Aid now and be honest. He is now playing for a club like Barcelona. It comes with responsibility for Kobashi. If you are not playing at the level, bro, you got to go. Or you got to be on the bench. You understand what I mean? At least.
Yeah, I think that Kubarsi has the talent. I think it's just in the high intense games, the big games where maybe he has a bit of lack of awareness. And to be honest, to defend him a little bit, all his defensive mistakes in that game, he was just getting outpaced. And you can't get faster, you know? If you're coming up against the fastest winger in the world, it's going to be hard for you. But I think he could have done a bit better. I still think there's a huge talent in Kubarsi. I think one of the big improvements from this season has been his aerial duels. I think he's getting a bit stronger with his jump and his leap, and being able to battle with those tall defenders. But I just think for pace, he's just too slow against those quick wingers. That's why you need a quick fullback to help compensate that. And Koundé was getting cooked. So the problem is that when you have like Elise, Luis Diaz, Vinicius, all the best wingers in the world, Prime, Neymar, it's up to the fullback for him to close him down. That's why you're talking about, look at Alvaro and Lamine Yamal. Alvaro did quite well against Lamine. Lamine dealt with him some scenarios. Every time Lamine beat Alvaro Carrillas, he was open and threw him behind. Right. That's what we had with Vinicius as well. So when Vinicius is not making Koundé, no one expects this. You have to go and get the lunge in. You're going to put in mistakes. I think the key issue with Kubarsi is not only is he slow, but I think his defending in the box is so conservative. I think he's so scared because he's given away a lot of penalties over the past year, whether it be against Benfica last season. He gave one this season, a big game like PSG or Chelsea. I remember him giving a penalty in a big game.
In the Chelsea, he gave away a penalty. I think it wasn't the Chelsea game.
It wasn't Chelsea game. It wasn't PSG. It was some big game, some important game. So I think he's really, really conservative with his defending.
Was it against Sevilla?
Maybe. Yeah. Some sort of big game where he gave away a penalty this season. And I think he gave away a few last season as well. So I think he's really conservative with his defending in the box, which he gives the attacker more space. But I think he'll grow. Again, he's only 18. The fact that he's starting for Barcelona at 18 on a consistent basis, and he's the only regularity that we have in the defense, is a testament to how good he is. I think he will grow.
But don't you say from the eye test, right? Don't you feel like maybe it's more to do with like his name? Because I feel like that's what
I think the issue is, bro, is that he needs someone beside him. This guy cannot, because look, I'm a long Barca fan, right? You are as well. I've been watching Barcelona since before 2010. I've seen, I can name to you right now, easily, like right now if you told me to, 25 different center backs that have played alongside Piqué from 2010 to when he left Barcelona in 2022. I can name you 25 right now. There's probably more. Why? Because he is always the constant denominator. Why? He's one of the best center backs of all time, and he's complete, and he prolonged to stay at Barcelona. Kubarsi is now becoming that, but he's becoming that at such a young age. He needs someone beside him. People are putting in the chat like Schlotterbeck, Koulibaly, Basada, whatever. Take any center back, put him beside Kubarsi. I think Kubarsi grows. I think Kubarsi completes. Look how good he looked last season with a leader beside him in Inigo. Yes, he made a mistake. Made a few mistakes here and there. He wasn't perfect. I thought he was fantastic, and you know that. He had a mistake here and there. Inigo had a mistake here and there as well. That happens in football. But when you have a leader beside you that's, a veteran in the game, it helps you. He helps command you. Kubarsi is now at 18 pretty much the leader in that defense. And that is where you bear the responsibility. This is why you're upset. This is why I'm upset, because he's the common denominator for a reason, because he's good. But when he's making these key mistakes, that's where issues come in. But he needs someone beside him, someone to bring him continuity. That's what he needs. He has a shit Koundé on his right. He has an inconsistent Balde on his left. Left center back, one day it's Araujo, next day it's Gerard Martin, next day it's Christensen, next day it's going to be Koundé. It's all over the place. There's no continuity. Last season, just him and Inigo, no matter what. If it was rotated, you'd have Araujo come in, and sometimes you'd be rested as well. That's another thing as well. He's playing every single second, every single game. So he needs time to grow. I think if you put someone beside him, get some depth in that position, I think he can grow further. You and I have both been saying this whole time season that fully fit, our best center back at this club is probably Andreas Christensen. And that's a fact. And you imagine that, putting Christensen alongside Kubarsi on a consistent basis, things can grow there. But I think right now we're at a point where, based on the system and the fluidity that we need, you need a left-footed center back beside Kubarsi. That's why when he has Gerard Martin beside him, he doesn't look too bad, because the fluidity is there, the game grows. Look at the Clásico in that first half, especially when we were building up play. We had so much possession. We had 80% of the possession in the 30th minute. Look at our build-up play. Down that left
Yeah,
hand side,
it was one-sided. Yep.
but down that left hand side, Omar, it was so slow because Eric Garcia, when he gets the ball, he has to touch, turn, look for the pass it. Why? Because he's right footed in the left side position. When Jordan Martin gets the ball, one touch, boom. But Eric Garcia has to shift his body, kill the fluidity, kill the momentum because he has to go on a stronger foot to make the pass. Yes, in defense, it's not too much of a difference, but in build-up play, it's crucial, and that puts pressure on the defense. So these kind of things are what I think was, playing a bad hand for Kubarsi. Yes, I'm not trying to defend his performance. It wasn't the best. I think if Koundé just locked down Vinicius, we would not be talking about Kubarsi right now. And that's where Koundé's main responsibility is. He's done in the past, Koundé. Act like Koundé hasn't done that before, locking down.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I promise I'm not.
Yeah. So he's done it before. He's been, pathetic. Not just this Clásico, even the first Clásico as well. Vinicius was the best player at the Bernabeu. Cooked Koundé to pieces. So he's done that in back-to-back now games, and it kind of exposed Kubarsi a bit. But I think there's still a talent there. I think you put a proper defender beside him, and definitely grow into the better player that he is.
I mean, hey, listen, at least the Madridistas, not all of the Madridistas are hiding. You know what I mean, right? Some of them are actually showing it. Big up to my guy, Darling, man. Listen, Darling, hold this L, man. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I told you, man. I was confident going into this game. And yeah, listen, I agree with your points. I think that, I don't put all the blame on Kobashi. Don't get it twisted, right? And you know what, right? It is not his fault, like you mentioned, that he's surrounded by bums. I'm interested to see, and what's funny, right? We've never really seen it, have we? We've never seen like a combination of Christensen and Kobashi at any point. And I'm like, what could that partnership had looked like if it ever happened? You understand what I mean, right? And we just don't see it. We just don't see it, right? And that is really, I would say, the most unfortunate thing about this whole situation, right? I mean, you look at Christensen, right? All the talk is that apparently he might be given a new contract and all that, but that's for another conversation. But you know what I mean, right? The game wasn't really good, defensively, but going forward, man, like even Lewandowski, remember when we were talking about Robert, and I was telling you, I'm like, look at the goal that Lewandowski scored, bro. Like that is a striker's goal. Like I always tell people, I'm like, brother, these kinds of things. World-class players, world-class strikers that are born to finish, bro. Like they have that thing in front of goal which never leaves them, ever. Right? They can lose their ability to run. They can lose their shooting power. They can lose their physical strength. They can lose a lot of that. But if you put the ball in the box, you are cooked. And if you look at Lewandowski's goal, when I look at the replay, they show you the replay from like his angle. You can see this brother is not even raised his head one time when that ball comes towards him by Pedri. He's not even looking at Courtois. He's not looking at Courtois' position. He already knows Courtois is going to come out of his box and try to put pressure on him. He just saw the ball come in, and you just saw him just chip it. And I'm like, brother, that is a striker's finish right there. Because the fact that he didn't even look for Courtois' position to know where he is, because if Courtois didn't come out, he would have looked like a fool doing that. But he already knew he would, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just like that, he scores. And he didn't do much into the game, but that's not a surprise to me at all. I knew he wasn't going to do much apart from the goal, right? Because that's what it is. He's not the same striker. But then we conceded right before halftime. Again, defensively, bro. I felt like, like Raphinha did so well to let that ball, to get that ball up the line. But then where is the other players to attack it while the ball is loose? When the ball is loose like that, bro, you gotta be active. Like slow reactions, and then that's it. And that's what happened. When the ball came down, it didn't go straight to front. Like people think it went straight to Gonzalez. It didn't go completely straight to Garcia. Garcia had to take his time, actually reach out to actually flick it. You understand what I mean, right? While everyone's just standing there. It's not good enough, man. And then second half, thankfully, Madrid started the second half pretty well. I feel like Vinny, he was growing into confidence like in the second half, but nothing much happened, and then we got the goal. And look, I gotta call this out, man. The referee yesterday, man. I swear to God, man, this referee, yeah. You see these Madridistas, whenever they complain about referees, bro, keep the same energy, bro. What happened yesterday with the referee? It's like I felt like during that game, Hafe, that the referee was trying his absolute level best to get these guys to equalize, man. Nah, seriously. At some point, I was like, bro, why do you just kick the ball in our net? Just do that, bro. Because clearly that's what you're doing. Like, first of all, What did you think of the young red card? Because I'm gonna be very real, bro. If that is a red, and I'm sorry, man, I looked at the replay a few times. I'm not saying it wasn't a foul, right? But the way they make it, what exactly was that a red card for? Because I'm sorry, he took the ball and the man, so it is a foul. I'm not saying it's not a foul, but he took the ball and the man, and for some reason he got a straight red. That was the worst. He didn't even get a second yellow. He got a straight red for that. You think that's a straight red offense?
If I'm taking off the bias hat, I think it is because his trailing lead was really, really high on Mbappe. It was on his knee, which is higher than the shin pad. I don't know if he got the ball or not. I didn't see the replay because I don't care. He's had one game suspension against Racing this Thursday, so I'm not bothered. And it was in the 90th minute, so it's not really a talking point. I definitely think that, like you're probably about to mention, the Asensio red card was that yellow that should have been a red was beyond clear to me. The way that he tackled, yes, he was stopping a counterattack, but it was reckless. That's why he took the player out with his studs up on the Petty's ankle. But the Frankie one, if he got the ball, I think it's the follow through that's the issue. So if I'm not being biased, I do think it was a red card.
Bro, I'm gonna be very real. Okay, if that is a red card, I mean, what about Carreras, bro? We're gonna talk about this dude.
He should have had 2 yellows. He should have had 2 yellows. He had the first yellow.
He got his first yellow, I think, in the 70th minute. I remember this dude making so many different fouls, Julie. I'm like, bro, so you're telling me this whole time this guy wasn't booked at all? For all of those times, especially on Pedri and Yamal. For some reason, this guy was just going hammer and tongues on our players, bro. I don't understand this. Like, the referee was so inconsistent, man. And the fact that even in the 90th minute, right, he added 5 minutes. And then, bro, this guy played till like the 98th minute. I'm like, brother, what is going on here? What is going on here, bro? It's not good enough. I'm sorry, man. Like sometimes the state of the refereeing sometimes, bro, it's ridiculous. And you know what it is, especially when it comes to Madrid. Madrid always complain about referees, bro, right? Last season, they did it. Do you remember they did it before the Copa del Rey, right? Literally tried to ruin this guy's mentality before the game, right? And even despite all of that, I think he sent off Rudiger, if I'm not mistaken. He sent off Rudiger, right?
Yeah, only
he sent off Rudiger, and then basically they made all kinds of noise about that, all kinds of like BS about it. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. But look, at the end of the day, we won the game. Right? I don't want to be too negative. I feel like this is, this should be a positive video. So let's actually talk about some of the other things that happened after the game, right? Did you see the Mbappe video that's been going all over the place?
Bro, come on. Of course I did. That's the reason why Xabi Alonso got sacked.
I mean, look, I gotta say this now, man. Like, you know what's funny, right? I gotta say this now. I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one. You know what it is with Real Madrid, right? I have never seen a club that are that have such a lack of self-awareness. You know what it is with Real Madrid? Real Madrid, bro, they live in their own world. And as a football club, as an establishment, this is how they think, right, bro? They live in their own world where they think everything revolves around them. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, this club, right? Do you remember these guys, right? Do you remember when Yamal did what he did? When Yamal called them out, you would think that Yamal pissed on the Madrid badge the way their fans were reacting to it, right? Talking about respect, talking about all of this BS. But the funny thing is, right? This club have shown that genuinely, right? They are probably the worst losers in football. They really are. They really are, bro. Like, we need to actually get into this, bro. They are genuinely the worst losers in football. Because, they always say, Hafed, there's a way to lose in life, right? Sometimes when you're in competition, sometimes you don't get what you want, right? And sometimes, you don't always win. But it's also how you take the defeat, right? You don't have to like defeat, but accept it. Embrace it and learn from it so that you can always be ready for the next time. That is what winners do when they lose. You understand what I mean, right? They take it up the chin and then they move on. Real Madrid, specifically this Real Madrid team, right? This is why I don't fear this current Madrid team. Because in my lifetime, I've watched Barcelona win multiple Clásicos. I've seen us win easily in a lot of Clásicos. A lot of the time, the Madrid teams I've seen us beat, where I have it, the Madrid teams I've seen us beat, I can look back and I can say, that could have been gone either way. That team still worries me. The next time we play Clásico, I will definitely be worried. But a lot of that is because of the way these guys always reacted to losing. They were not always going to the media and complain about something, right? Sometimes maybe they'll get infuriated or frustrated during the game, and then there will be fights breaking out and stuff. But really, after the game, it is what it is. They move on, right? And they're like, they learn from it, and then they say, all right, next Clásico, we will see you either in the Camp Nou or in the Bernabeu. You understand what I mean, right? That mindset. What makes this Madrid team, this current Madrid team, different from those Madrid teams? This Madrid team, you can tell they're babied, bro. No, you can genuinely tell this Madrid team, this Madrid players specifically, they're like a bunch of spoiled kids who've been given everything they've ever wanted. And the one time when they don't get what they want, they start throwing tantrums. That is this Madrid team that you're watching right now. This Madrid team have shown multiple times they can take defeats. They can take defeats. And I'm like, brother, in order to be a winner, you need to accept to lose. You need to embrace losing to win. If you are not prepared to lose, you're never going to actually win, because preparing to lose means that you go out there giving it your all, knowing that it might backfire. But if you're going to sit there and act like a bitch every time you lose, bro, no one is going to fear you. I'm looking at this Madrid team thinking, brother, if we play you guys tomorrow, I still think we're going to batter you again. I don't see any fear factor in this kind of Madrid team, because they're a bunch of bitches. That's what they are. I'm sorry, but that's what they are. This team is bitch made, bro. They showed it last season when we beat them multiple times, and they kept on complaining, going to the media, talking about the referees, talking about this, talking about that. Lack of accountability. And you even saw it even outside of football. When you look at the Ballon d'Or ceremony, the moment the golden boy didn't win the Ballon d'Or, they just decided, yeah, we're not even going to go there, because our guy did not win. That is this club, bro. They are so classless, bro. They expect everybody to bow to them, but they always think, fuck giving everybody else respect. But we demand all the respect. We should be given all the respect because we are Real Madrid. They're truly, like, bro, I always say it, bro, they actually do act like royalty, but they act like the worst kinds of royalty, right? The royalty who don't even see other human beings around them. You understand what I mean? It's an embarrassment. And when I saw Alonso, trying to, be respectful, and then Mbappe walking up and saying, nah, F all of that, I'm like, brother, this is why you guys are never going to win. Because you don't know how to take defeats. What? So what? You think clapping for us is going to degrade you, brother? In 2007, when you guys won the league and you came to play the El Clásico the following week, we had to give you a guard of honor. Do you think I was happy to see that? Do you think that made me happy to see that? No, but I understood, bro. It's not about bowing to Real Madrid. It's about being respectful. If this was any other team that did it, we would have done the same thing. You understand what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we would have expected teams to do that for us when we win the league. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But the way Madrid act, bro, especially this Madrid team, this is why they're not going anywhere, bro. Because these guys, they have not been taught the way to lose. And it's in everything in life, Hafid. Before I finish, it's in everything in life, bro. They always say, always learn how to take L's. I know you're from Canada, but I always use the Drake Kendrick beef as a perfect example of winning and losing. I feel like sometimes, even if you lose a battle, there's a way you can just make the defeat not seem as bad. But when you do certain things, you just put more attention on yourself, which is not the kind of attention that you want for yourself. You understand what I mean? I feel like it's in everything in life, bro. Always learn how to take defeat when you lose. You have to be happy about it, but learn to accept it in a certain way. Because if you move a certain way, you're never going to succeed. And that's the thing with this Madrid team. They're not going to win. I'm looking at the Madrid team today. I'm like, brother, I don't see anything. This team is not going to win the league. This team is not going to win the league. I don't care that Alonso just got sacked. This team is not winning the league because you know why? Because they don't know how to recover from defeats. They don't. They don't know it, bro. They're gonna lose their next game in the league, and then they're gonna go on a head loss again. And then if they get knocked out of the Copa del, who are they playing in the Copa del? I think they have a big game in the Copa del Rey, right?
Yeah, they play on Wednesday against like Albacete or something like that.
Oh, Alba said okay, so they're gonna win that, fine. But
no, I mean Arbeloa lost to them with the Castilla team, so you never know.
Hey, listen, man. Hopefully, listen, it will be hilarious. Don't get it twisted. I would love to see it, but the point still stands, Hafid. Real Madrid don't know how to take defeats. This Madrid team don't know how to take defeats. And until they learn how to take defeats and learn from it to become better, they're never going to improve. This team doesn't have the leaders, the kind of players like the Ramoses, the Modric, the players who like they were the leader, they were the figureheads of this team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, despite we hating Barcelona, they always made sure to never show the public or the media how much the defeat hurts them, right? They will say, "All right, listen, man, let's just give them the guard of honor. Doesn't really matter, right? We don't want them to see that the defeat hurts us as much. I know, of course, it hurts us, but let's not show them this petty side of us because it's just going to make us look, embarrassing in front of the world, right? We don't want to embarrass ourselves more than we already have losing this final. But it is what it is. So what do you think, man? Because I've been monologuing for a while.
I mean, I pretty much agree with everything that you said, but I think the problem with Madrid stands at the fact that they can never play good football. They're a team that is built and a club that's built on relying on individual players. I think if Florentino Perez could appoint any manager in this earth right now for Real Madrid, it would be Carlo Ancelotti. Why? Because he's a good manager. He lets the players do their thing. He trains them well. He makes good rotation. Ancelotti has no tactics towards him whatsoever. The reason why he got sacked was because that he knew that his time was up at the club because the fans were getting sick and tired of the boring football when it wasn't successful. No one had a problem with Ancelotti when they won the La Liga and Champions League double. They're playing the same style of football. When they get exposed by good Barca teams and get exposed by good teams in Europe, that's when the Fernandes came in. Also, he got offered the Brazil job as well, which is quite a good job in football. So this is how Madrid are built on. I've never in my life seen Madrid play good football. Jose Mourinho, Lopetegui, Zidane, Solari, Xabi Alonso, Carlo Ancelotti. Never once in my life have I seen Real Madrid play good football. They play attacking football. They play a lot of times on the counter-attack, and that's why Ronaldo, Benzema, and Bale all looked like they were the best thing since sliced bread. Because on the counter-attack against weak teams, they look fantastic. That's how they play. They don't play champagne football. They never have. And they never will. They rely on individual talents and individual displays. Look at Vinicius in the Clásicos when we were shit. Remember when we had Valverde, Setien? Look at Vinicius in those Clásicos. That's what he thrives in, where there's no tactics, the team's on poor form, and the manager gives him total freedom to play. That's why he always tears up a new one, because he gets that freedom and he plays on his way. He keeps his position on the pitch, a little bit of tactics here and there, but mainly it's onto him. That is where this Real Madrid team can be successful, when they don't have any tactics to their mind. That's how Real Madrid always have been, and that's how they always will be. It's always down to Barcelona to play beautiful, champagne football to expose them. That's how you expose teams that rely on talent. You have to outplay them. And that's what we do to Madrid week in, week out on a very regular basis now in El Clásico. Even when we were at our worst, we still clapped them for nil playing champagne football. That's how it always will be.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like I've always said, it's like I feel like with Madrid, right? Even in our worst, we still give it a go. I feel like that's the difference between this Madrid team and us, right? Even on Xavi's last season, which was probably the worst season I've seen in a long time, right? In as far as the Clásicos is concerned, we lost 3 Clásicos that season, right? Look at the Clásico. Apart from the Supercopa final, every single one of them we played in the league was close, right? We lost 2-1 at the Montjuic, and at the Bernabeu, they had to win it late. We gave it a rightful go, and that's who we are. We always give it a go, no matter how good or bad we are going into the Clásicos, right? And like you just mentioned, man, there's ways to lose games. You understand what I mean, right? And sometimes, man, like I even say, and me saying this, it's not me just trying to, say, Madrid should have given us God of Honor, this and this and this. I'm gonna be very real, bro. If they were playing any other team, I would have been saying the same thing. Because I'm like, giving a guard of honor is something that every club does. So it's not like, oh, Barcelona should be given a guard of honor by Real Madrid specifically. No, this is something I've seen multiple clubs do, right? I saw Liverpool do this for Real Madrid when they won the Champions League. Madrid fans didn't have a problem then. Were Madrid fans sitting there complaining, oh, they shouldn't give us a guard of honor, that's embarrassing? No. In fact, I'm sure there was a part of them that was excited, was happy to see that. They were happy to see other teams giving them the credit. And that's what it is with Real Madrid, bro. Real Madrid, right? They always, like I mentioned, man, they're victim FC. They love to be the victims, bro. They enjoy being the victim. They always enjoy feeling like they've been robbed. Do you notice that? Right? They always live under this world of every time things doesn't go their way, it's always other people's fault. You understand? Especially this Madrid team. This Madrid team that's the biggest problem with this kind of Madrid team. You see it all the time, bro. Look at before Alonso left, right? When they were struggling during that run, when we picked up our form and then we went top of the table. Every single week, every time I went on the internet, all I saw was Florentino Perez talking about Negreira. And it just happens to be coincide around the same time when Madrid fans were beginning to question Florentino Perez. I'm like, see what I mean? Like, instead of dealing with the issues, right? Because he was in a Madrid meeting, right? Instead of dealing with the issues at hand, talking about the team, talking about the fact that it's not acceptable that, we won the Clásico and did so well, and then all of a sudden, we've been drawing against teams that are in the relegation zone. You understand what I mean, right? Unacceptable. Or talking about the manager's future. Talking about things that important. No. We're going to talk about Negreira and how it is not right and that there's a lot of things that...
There'll be some Negreira news coming out soon. Don't you worry.
But that is the point. That is his go-to thing. And you know what's funny, right? If the pressure gets hard, he will still talk about it. I don't expect this brother to ever stop. That's the funny thing. I don't expect him to stop. I expect him to continue like this for a long time. That's why I'm like, bro, just do whatever you want. You understand what I mean? Right? I'm not here to stroke your ego. Do whatever you want, right? Try, make excuses and all that. At the end of the day, as a Barca fan, for me, as a fan, I don't make excuses for my club. When Barca wins, I'm happy. When we don't win, I'm fuming. You understand what I mean, right? I set a high standard for myself as a Barca fan. But for you Madrid fans and for Madrid Football Club, you guys can continue to hold that. But last thing we're going to talk about before we do get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this has been an amazing 24 hours. We started with winning the Supercopa. Then we had to saw the Madrid fans' tears. I mean, you're in the group chat. We've seen the tears. Excuses, man, like Will in the chat, just being salty as hell. Watch out for him in chaos, because I'm gonna smoke that guy when I see him in the chaos. Don't worry about it. I got something planned for him, the fraud, right? But just when we thought we'd seen it all, well, it is Monday morning, and the news keeps on getting better and better, Hafed, because Alonso is gone. I cannot believe it. Apparently, all the talk was that he resigned. Well, it turns out he wasn't. He was actually sacked by Real Madrid. So you're telling me losing 3-2 against Barcelona in the Supercopa de España was what finally tipped you guys to the edge? You're telling me this. It wasn't you guys bottling a 5-point lead, drawing to teams like Girona and Rayo Vallecano and flipping Elche. No, those are not the things that trigger it. No, it's losing to Barcelona, an informed Barcelona that have been cooking ever since losing to Chelsea. No, this is the thing, and people are saying, Omar, it's not even about that. It's not the loss. It's the way the players have been acting. I'm like, brother, you see this is the biggest issue at Real Madrid right now, Hafed. This is why this team is not going to improve, because the players have way too much power, bro. I'm telling you, man, this is shades of Madrid in 05. I don't care what anyone tells me. This is shades of Madrid 05, bro. The players have way too much power. Guys like Mbappe, they have too much say. Guys like Vinny, they have too much say. Every time they don't get what they want, they cry. And they don't cry in the locker room. No, they cry in front of the whole world, so that the whole world, the fans, everybody can see them crying. So everyone can be like, yo, this guy has no control over the dressing room. It is, bro, I'm just like, dude, this is a toxic locker room, bro. Fucking hell, bro, Real Madrid is a toxic locker room. And I love it. I love it.
I was gonna say,
But-
I don't care. Keep it
Like,
coming.
bro, but dude, like, Alonso, man, what, 5 months? He was there for 5 months, I think, or what, 5, 6 months, something like that, right? I mean, what do you think, like, from a non-biased point of view, bro? Like,
It's been surprising they won't at least like give him the season. Especially with now they're just gonna give it to what Arbeloa. Like, what's the difference between Arbeloa and Alonso? I mean, I don't care, of course, but with the unbiased hat on, it was probably better to stick with him to the rest of the season than find a new manager. The manager market right now is not that great, by the way. Not too many available. Manchester United, yeah,
Maresca is also available.
Xavi. But it's not that great in terms of high caliber ones. There's a lot of ones that you have to take risks on, especially with Manchester United looking for a manager as well. It is quite surprising though, but I think for me it was quite obvious. As soon as I saw that video yesterday of everyone listening to Mbappe, no one listening to Alonso, it was quite clear to me that he was gonna get the boot eventually. I'm not too surprised, but I am surprised that they pulled the trigger this early. And now it's really going to come down to what's going to happen now. Are they just going to complete it right off the season? Are they going to bring someone in the next month to replace Arbeloa? Will they give Arbeloa the permanent job if he does well in the first month, and they just give him a contract?
Oh, please do.
So it's a lot of question marks.
Oh, please, by all means, they can give him the job, man. Give him the job permanently. I agree, right? Give it to Arbeloa, man. Arbeloa in charge, man. Listen, if you don't believe in Arbeloa, bro, listen. Look, Arbeloa is on the wheel, man. And let me be clear, man. I can't stand that dude either, man. I still remember this guy used to piss me off during Clásicos. He was one of those guys, right? He was one of those trolls. Remember back in the day? Him and PK used to just go at it on social media like a bunch of babies, bro. I was crazy back in the day. But yeah, here's what it is, man. Big up to my guy KX. Says Madrid starting 11 on both Clásicos. Just had Militao and Mbappe as changes. They'll talk about injury hits. Bro, they'll make excuses about anything, bro. Man says Luis will never coach Madrid. I think he's talking about Luis Enrique. Yeah, I mean, he did play for them back in the day before going to Barcelona, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Man. And to be fair, Madrid fans absolutely hate him. Right? When he used to be as a player, they hated him because of the way like he used to act after he left for Barcelona. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Look, at the end of the day, great win for Barca, man. I am so happy, man. Like, I feel like now, do you believe, Hafe, that this winning the Super Cup could give us the same trigger that it gave us last year?
I'm hoping so, man. But I mentioned in the video today, there's time to take this team to the next level. Don't just, win the league and do what you did last season. Use this as like, confidence, momentum. You're right. And, motivation, but take it to the next level, push in the Champions League, try to make us the best team in the world and prove that with the trophies that you can win. Because, just doing what you did last season is going to be boring. It's going to be rinse and repeat. We've seen us now dominate Spain. This team now is kind of entering their prime. They got to show it on the pitch.
I mean, listen, man, we can only hope and pray that have it. But listen, guys, let us know what you guys think about everything we said in the comment section, guys. This is not going to be a long show, unfortunately, guys, okay? Big up to every single one of you guys who's been here. And listen, Copa del Rey is this weekend, right? We're back in the weekend?
We're back on Thursday against Racing Santander. Yes, Thursday.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Listen, I guess no rest for the weary, right? It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
I mean, look, it's fine, man. Listen, let's go out there. Let's get the win, right? And at the end of the day, let's retain. You know what, man? You think we can do a back-to-back domestic trebles, man?
I think we can, but like I said, I want to see this team, do something in Europe. I've seen the domestic treble. We know that they can do it, but we need to see, like, especially now with Madrid being in disarray and being on the floor, it's time now to take this to the next level.
Hey, listen, man. Y'all heard it here, man. Listen, hopefully we can. But listen, Hafed, appreciate you for being here, man. As always, my guy, bro. Big up to you guys. Listen, guys, make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy Barca Boy, guys. I'll put the link to his channel. If it's not in the description, I'll put it in the description as well, guys. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to him. And listen, guys, we'll be back on Friday on his channel, right? For post-match reaction of the Copa del Rey, and also, we'll be back in the league very, very soon to, try to, extend our lead in the league, right? So yeah, we're gonna get into all of that, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys who has been here. Listen, guys, make sure you guys smash the likes, and look, this stream, I'm gonna redirect this, guys, straight to my other stream, which is coming out like literally right after this, guys. So we got another stream coming out literally right next to this. Let me actually set up the redirect. That way, we can redirect to there. But listen, yeah, we're gonna be redirecting you guys to the show with Northside, which is coming out next. Make sure you guys are there, guys, because the celebration will not stop at all, man. We're gonna celebrate this all week. And listen, I got some things lined up, man. I'm not gonna spoil it, man. But one thing you guys don't want to miss is the show after this, right? After this, I'm with Northside, and then I will redirect you all to Football Chaos at 5, because I'm telling you now, you do not want to miss this Football Chaos. Barca fans, we are gonna cook. Don't worry about it. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, the beautiful stuff, and we'll see you guys this Friday. Visca Barca. Take care, you guys.
See you, boys.